They called me a demon. At 3, I tortured animals. At 7, I killed. Terrified my family had me committed. 12 years later, my gentle brother took his own life. Mother secured my release, her voice cold with hatred. If you are a demon, then kill every person who tormented your brother. Our clan has a legend of twins. One is always a demon who must be slain. But before our 3rd year, my brother and I were so docile, the family began to doubt the tale. Then, at age 3, the goose attacked me. I seized its neck and killed it. I dragged the corpse home, proudly telling Mother we would feast on it that night. My parents were stunned. Word spread through the village that I was the demon child. But since the goose struck first, a fact witnessed by other children, my parents argued I was merely fierce, not demonic. The elders, wary of the law in this new era, did not pursue the matter further, only telling my parents to watch me closely. After that, any animal that dared attack me, I killed without mercy. My parents paid dearly for my actions. At 5, when village children called me a demon and tried to bully me, I nearly beat them to death. Only the timely arrival of adults saved the life of their leader, the village brute. From then on, I was locked in my room, forbidden to leave. Only my brother would visit, telling me stories from school. He taught me to read and shared all his toys with me. He was my only companion. At 7, I heard Mother's cries from the courtyard. The brute's son had beaten my brother severely. But his family was powerful, and the village chief offered only a verbal reprimand. My brother's right arm was broken, his tendons severed. The doctor said his hand would never recover its full function. That night, I pried open my window and slipped out. By the time my parents found me, the brute's son was dead. I was battered, but alive. Seeing my parents, I smiled. I've avenged my brother, but they could not smile. Seeing me, covered in blood, yet beaming, sent a chill down their spines. A child of only 7, the police came, and due to my age and my crime, I was sent to the asylum. For 12 years, my brother visited me every weekend without fail. He brought me food and taught me to read storybooks on my own. But then, a month and a half passed with no visit. Instead, my mother came for the first time ever. She was a stranger to me, her face gaunt and ravaged by a terrible hatred. She had already arranged my release. Perhaps my 12 years of placid behavior had earned me this freedom. Mother was silent the entire journey home. As we entered the courtyard, the heavy scent of medicinal herbs filled the air. Finally, she spoke. "Your father is paralyzed. His spine was broken." I scoffed. "Father is so timid. How could he provoke anyone?" Mother's fists clenched, but she said nothing, leading me to my brother's room. Inside, a figure lay under a white sheet on the bed. My smile froze. I rushed forward and pulled back the cloth. My brother's face was peaceful. I tore the sheet away completely. There were ligature marks and scratches on his neck from a strangulation. I unbuttoned his shirt. His body was a canvas of wounds, some scabbed over, others still fresh, weeping and festering. Mother stood beside me, her eyes dry. "If you truly are a demon," she seethed, "kill them all. Kill everyone who hurt your father and brother, and if you hate me for my cruelty back then, kill me too." "Who?" I asked calmly. Her voice, hollow and brittle, recounted the years of torment that followed. The family of the boy I killed held a long and bitter grudge. They orchestrated a campaign of suffering against us, knowing my father and brother were perfect, silent victims. What began as simple beatings soon spiraled into a methodical cruelty. The searing press of cigarette burns and the humiliation of insults carved directly into my brother's flesh. When my father finally fought back, they outnumbered him and broke his spine. He has been bedridden for 2 years. The clan elders merely fined the brute's family. After that, their cruelty only intensified. My brother, unable to endure it any longer, drank pesticide. A smile stretched across my face. "So I can do whatever I wish." "Yes, just make them all die." I looked at my brother. "From this day forward, I am you. This will be fun." Mother kept my brother's body in a freezer. I wore his clothes, learning his life. He had 11 cigarette burns. I took father's cigarettes and branded myself in the exact same spots. I replicated every scar on his body, my face an emotionless mask. Mother watched, and for the first time, she smiled. Before, she would have called me a madman, a demon. Now, her eyes held only relief and approval. After a few days of recovery, with my wounds scabbed over, I adopted my brother's haircut and wore his clothes. Even Mother couldn't tell us apart. She rushed to embrace me. Ah, Ji. That was my brother's name. I am Chen Bin. He was Chen Ji. Mother, I'm going to the master's workshop now, I said, mimicking his gentle voice. She nodded, staring as if in a trance. At the master's wood workshop, the old carpenter looked at me with kind eyes. He was one of the few who never treated our family differently. Ah, Ji, are you well? I heard Chen Jiadi bullied you again. He feigned surprise at my presence, his eyes wide with a poorly concealed curiosity. He clapped a hand on my shoulder, his voice thick with false sympathy. I heard Chen Jiadi gave you trouble again. I took the wood planer and began to work, mimicking my brother's movements. Soon, Chen Yang, the other apprentice, arrived. He seemed surprised to see me. I heard Chen Jiadi gave you trouble again. Someone ought to teach that bastard a lesson. I just smiled faintly. It's over. Let's focus on our work. After half an hour, Chen Yang made an excuse and left. He went to the village's profitable farmhouse resort, an enterprise owned by Chen Jiadi's family. He found Jiadi and his cronies. Brother Chen, Chen Ji, is back. He looks fine. Ha, that Chen Ji is surprisingly resilient. He can take quite a beating. Jiadi laughed to his cronies, a cruel glint in his eye. I suppose this means we can play much rougher with him next time. Another joked. We should get a branding iron with the resort's logo and sear it on his face. A walking advertisement. Jiadi loved the idea. Excellent. Next time we go out with the ladies, you're coming, Chen Yang. Now go back and watch Chen Ji. Are you happy, Chen Yang? My voice cut through his cheerful thoughts. He jumped. I was leaning against a tree, whittling a branch with a carpenter's knife. His face went pale. Ah, Ji, what are you doing here? A strange smile touched my lips. I smell the sweet fragrance of blood. Your blood. He stared, terrified. What are you doing? As he turned to run, I threw the knife, striking his leg. He fell face first into the dirt. Chen Ji, you're insane. I work for Chen Jiadi. You dare touch me. Before he could finish, I drove the sharpened wooden stake through the palm of his hand. I'm sorry. I won't be an informant again. Please, let me go, he screamed. I knelt beside him, smiling. As long as Chen Ji lived, I could never emerge. His goodness was the only thing that suppressed the evil in my heart. Thank you all for releasing me. His eyes widened in recognition and horror. You're the demon. His screams lasted only a few minutes, then silence, save for the crows circling above, eyeing their feast. Back at the workshop, the master taught me patiently, never questioning my clumsy first attempts at woodworking. Near noon, the village erupted in shouts and cries. A man ran in. Master Chen, your apprentice. Something's happened on the East Mountain path. We rushed to the path. A crowd had gathered. Chen Yang's body, covered by a straw mat, lay on the ground. His mother wept beside him. The women had been sent away, for fear the sight was too gruesome. Everyone speculated, but no one suspected me. Chen Ji was known as a saint who would never retaliate. The clan head and village chief ordered an investigation and tasked my master with building Chen Yang's coffin. We worked through the night. As we delivered the coffin, Chen Yang's mother slapped my master. "You old fool. I sent my son to you, and you let him die. Why wasn't it you?" Then his sister kicked me, screaming, "You demon spawn. Your mother should have burned you and your lunatic brother at birth." I looked at the footprint on my stomach and smiled at her. "How would you like me to die?" A flicker of genuine fear finally broke through her arrogance, her eyes darting between my face and the bloody club. She hesitated, her hand half raised, then stumbled back, her voice cracking as she shrieked the accusation, "Father, help me. Chen Ji assaulted me." Her father stormed over, his eyes blazing. "You dare touch my daughter." His hand struck my face. I did not flinch. The sound of the slap echoed in the night. When the master tried to intervene, Chen Yang's mother shoved him. "What, old man? You're siding with this demon against us. You got my son killed. Now you want to ruin us all." The master fell silent. Chen Yang's family vented all their grief and hatred upon me, and I understood then how they must have treated my brother. I endured it all without a word. When they tired, the father said to my master, "Leave the boy here. He can work for us. There's something unnatural about him. He doesn't even cry out." The master glanced at me, his eyes holding an unreadable expression. "You've suffered," he whispered, before leaving with the empty cart. They ordered me to move their son's body into the coffin. I obeyed, working late into the night. Then they left me outside to stand vigil while they went inside to sleep. In the oppressive silence of the dead of night, the sound of muffled whispers drew my attention to the sister's room, peering through a narrow gap in the curtains. I watched as the silhouette of Chen Jiadi stealthily climbed through her second-story window, swallowed by the darkness within. "Jiadi, be gentle," she whispered as he embraced her. "My brother is dead. You must find his killer." "Foolish woman. With him gone, the inheritance is all yours. Once the killer is found, I'll make him pay and then send him away to prison." She giggled. That demon spawn was strange today. He just took the beating. But the way he looked at me, it was unsettling. His brother killed my little brother when he was 7. I've waited for this. Later, you will seduce Chen Ji. I will pretend to arrive to pay my respects and catch you. Then I will see him buried. "Good," she said, her eyes glinting with malice. Suddenly, the room erupted in flames. The fire spread with unnatural speed. "How is it so fast? Someone must have used gasoline." Jiadi scrambled for his pants and ran to the door. It was chained from the outside. The window was also barred shut. It must be Chen Yang's killer. What kind of monster did he cross, trying to burn your whole family alive? With a guttural roar of desperation, Jiadi seized a heavy wooden chair and smashed it against the window frame. Glass shattered into the night. But as he scrambled to leap to safety, I was already there, a shadow waiting in the dark. A single, precise blow from my club sent him crumpling to the ground, utterly unconscious. His sister stared in horror. You killed my brother." I had nothing to do with it." I climbed through the window, my blood-stained club in hand. The heat was searing my skin. She tore open her clothes, baring her stomach. "Chen Ji, I know you desire me. I'll never call you a toad again. I'm yours, right now." I seized her by the neck. "Many in this village tormented Chen Ji. Was that your doing?" "I was wrong when you wrote me that letter. I was moved. But they all called you demon spawn. So I spread it around to distance myself. I didn't know so many liked me. They hurt you to win my favor. You did not support them, but you allowed it. You rewarded their cruelty." I smiled, pulling her clothes back into place. A flicker of hope crossed her face. I held her close and whispered in her ear, "By the way, My name is Chen Bin. Chen Ji was my brother. Her eyes widened in absolute terror. The next moment, I pushed her into the roaring flames. Her agony was mercifully brief. Even had she managed to roll out of the heart of the fire, her clothes had already become a second skin of flame, an inescapable, consuming inferno that clung to her until she moved no more. Her parents ran out, drawn by the commotion. "Chen Ji, you set this fire, my daughter. I'll kill you," the father charged. I struck him down with one swing of the club. His wife collapsed, speechless with terror. The woman collapsed in a heap of terror and shock. I looked down at her, my expression as cold. A family reunion. I placed the parents in the coffin with their son. After I hammered in 3 nails, I could hear their desperate pounding and muffled pleas from within. I felt nothing. I sealed the remaining gaps. The fire now consumed most of the courtyard. I could hear people approaching. Chen Jiadi lay on the porch, engulfed in flames. I ignored him and walked away. My revenge had begun, but it was far from over. When I returned home, Mother was waiting. She smiled and pointed to the food on the table. "You must be hungry. Eat." I ate ravenously. "If only your brother had a fraction of your ferocity," she mused. "He never would have suffered so. If I had protected you then, if I hadn't let them take you away, perhaps none of this would have happened. In this world, the good are always devoured." When I finished, she cleared the table. "Go rest. You are tired." I went to my brother's room. I had no room of my own. The following day, the entire village was summoned to the ancestral hall. The headman stood before them, his face a mask of grim solemnity, his voice trembling with manufactured gravity. Last night, the Chen family met a tragic, unspeakable end. The sister was consumed by fire. Her parents were found suffocated, sealed inside their own son's coffin. This is a heinous crime, a stain upon our village. We must hunt for the truth with all our strength, not only to find the perpetrator, but to give justice to the souls of the dead. A wave of fearful murmurs rippled through the assembled crowd. Some whispered of vengeful spirits and curses, while others pointed fingers at Chen Jiadi, whose illicit affair with the sister was a poorly kept secret. Chen Jiadi was rescued from the fire, the headman continued, his tone heavy. "But his burns are too severe. The doctors have informed us that he will not survive." His eyes fixed on me. "You were the only one there. Tell us what happened." I calmly recounted the events. The master and I delivered the coffin. The family vented their anger on us, which I'm sure you all find perfectly normal. The villagers shifted uncomfortably. "They beat me without mercy," I explained to the assembly, and then forced me to stand a lonely vigil over the coffin, while they all retired to their beds to sleep. Around midnight, Chen Jiadi snuck into the sister's room. I assume I don't need to describe what they did. Chen Jiadi's father, Chen Sai, exploded in a fit of rage. "This is no time for pathetic excuses. My son is dying. We need the killer." "Chen Ji, you must have seen who it was. Why were you gone when the others arrived?" "When the fire broke out," I said flatly, "I ran." "You ran? Did you set the fire? Why not raise the alarm? Why would I help the man who crippled my father? Am I a fool?" My cold, logical words plunged the hall into an uneasy silence. Chen Sai, though incandescent with rage, was rendered speechless. Finally, he bellowed, "To fail to rescue is to be an accomplice. You are as guilty as the killer. I'll kill you, you worthless animal." He and his kinsman rushed forward, but the old clan head slammed his staff on the floor. "This is the ancestral hall. Show respect." They were forced to retreat. The hollow investigation continued, yet not a single villager cast suspicion upon me. This, I realized, is perhaps the only true advantage of being perceived as weak and good. With no mortal leads, many resigned themselves to a supernatural explanation that the culprit was something unnatural. But Chen Sai persisted. Chen Ji is the only survivor. He is the prime suspect. He must be locked up and interrogated. The clan head did not object. I was taken to a sealed room in the hall. As they locked the door, Chen Sai whispered, "Whether you did it or not, if my son dies, you die with him." He leaned closer. His voice a venomous whisper meant only for me. "And you should remember, many people in this village rely on my family for their livelihood. That includes the very men who are now your guards." His taunting voice seeped through the thick wooden door. "Your demonic brother killed my youngest son. I have never forgotten that debt. Now, with my other son dying, you will be the one to pay the price for both of them." I laughed coldly. "You were too afraid to face Chen Bin, so you tormented Chen Ji instead, didn't you? Watching him suffer was your only solace." He grunted in admission. "It wasn't just me. The old clan head fears your family's demon spawn more than anyone. He couldn't burn you alive under the new laws, so he silently approved of my actions." He left, cackling, thinking he had broken me. A moment later, a carpenter's file was pushed through a vent. I crept to the window, but saw no one. I hid the file in my sleeve. Someone else in this village wanted blood. At dusk, Chen Sai returned, his eyes wild with grief. "My son is dead. My last son. I'll have you buried alive for this. Drag him out." As two men lunged at me, I drew the file and plunged it into one man's throat. Blood erupted from between his fingers as he clawed at his neck. The other man froze, horrified by the brutal efficiency of the kill. Chen Sai stared, paralyzed. "You're not Chen Ji." Chen Ji could never be so ruthless. Then, realization dawned. You are Chen Ben." "Correct," I replied, lunging forward. He was a wealthy man, soft and slow. My file found his heart. He collapsed, his face purple with rage. "You demon, we should have burned you." The remaining men fled in terror. Soon, a mob, armed with farm tools, burst in. They saw me, drenched in blood, standing over the dismembered remains of Chen Sai. They screamed. "It's Chen Bin." The ancient clan patriarch shrieked, his voice thin with terror and disbelief as he recognized the truth. "It is the demon spawn, returned." A villager, emboldened by the mob, swung a heavy hatchet. The blade bit deep into the muscle and bone of my shoulder, a shock of searing pain that would have felled any other man. Laughing, a sound that was utterly inhuman, I began my inexorable walk towards Chen Sai's home. "Do not let him escape," the old clan head yelled, his voice cracking with fear. "He will bring ruin upon us all." Another swung a hoe. Too slow. I dodged easily and split his skull. My savage, reckless assault kept them at bay. They could only watch as I approached the clan head. I placed a bloody hand on his shoulder. He trembled. "You were the true architect of all this, weren't you? My great-grandfather. I should have burned you when I had the chance," he stammered, his frail body supported only by his cane. "I should have burned your entire cursed family and purged this village of your presence. But now, you have no more chances." I swung the hatchet. He fell. As the villagers stared in horror, I left the hall. At Chen Sai's home, they were preparing a funeral for Chen Jiadi. I walked into the mourning hall, leaving a trail of bloody footprints. Chen Sai's wife and daughter huddled in a corner, their faces ashen with fear. I barred the gate. The wife found a sliver of courage. "Chen Ji, it was my husband and I who wronged you. Our sons are dead. Kill me, but spare my daughter." I tilted my head. "My name is Chen Bin." At the name, her face drained of all color. You're the demon." "Yes, I was content in the asylum, but you all brought me out. You called me a demon, so I will grant your wish and act like one." "No, listen. Your mother's children died at birth. You and Chen Ji are not her blood. I advanced slowly. And how does that excuse you for torturing my brother to death? It was the clan head. He made Chen Sai do it. He wanted your family dead. The clan head is dead. Chen Sai is dead. Now, only you two remain. I drove the file into her chest. I turned to her daughter, who was trying to flee, but her legs kept giving way. When I killed your brother at age 7, you were there. You saw what I was. You should not have made the same mistake. With a final, dispassionate movement, I drove the file into her temple. When the headmen arrived moments later, at the head of 100 armed men, the macabre tableau that greeted them stopped them cold in their tracks. The mourning banner in the hall now bore the name Chen Ji. The wife and daughter lay dead before the altar. Meanwhile, I had reached the master's workshop. He was waiting, smoking his pipe. I placed the bloody file on the workbench. I'm returning this. He looked at me. I knew you would make it out alive. Congratulations on avenging your family. I sat beside him. I heard my mother's children died at birth. Your wife was the midwife, wasn't she? His breathing grew ragged. Don't listen to her lies. She meant to harm you. Harm me how? By telling me I am not my mother's son. Would someone try to kill me over this? I leaned closer. Or would I kill someone? He trembled. The game isn't over yet, is it? Are you a target too? I smell blood. Chen Bin. You and Chen Ji were twins the village chief brought from outside. He had my wife switch you at birth. Chen Jiati was your adoptive mother's real son. Why? Because your adoptive father was poised to become the next chief. If he fathered twins, our village curse would not only disqualify him, it would get him killed. So the true culprit is the current chief. Just then, the door burst open. The chief stood there alone, holding a flintlock pistol. Old Chen, I spared you because you kept your mouth shut. But only the dead can be trusted. Your wife knew too much, so I had her pushed down a well. Now, only you two are left. He fired. The shot tore through my chest. As I fell, I threw the file. It embedded itself in the chief's stomach. He screamed in agony, the heavy pistol falling from his grasp. In that instant, the master lunged forward, his face a mask of vengeful fury. He grabbed a carving knife from a nearby bench and began to slash wildly at the headman's neck and chest. You bastard! You killed my wife after everything I did for you. I'll kill you. The chief, with a grunt of pain, pulled the file from his gut and stabbed the master in the side. The master collapsed. The chief tried to speak, but his throat was slit. He died with his eyes wide open. The master's face was pale. Seeing the chief dead, he finally went still. His breathing stopped. I struggled to my feet and stumbled home. Mother was in the main hall. She rushed to me, weeping. Ah, Bin, you've suffered so. I leaned against her. Mother, you won't send me away again, will you? Never. I was wrong. Both of you are my good sons. She held me as I wept. I smiled and closed my eyes. She carried me to a chair and laid my head on the table. Are you satisfied now? She asked the empty room. She picked up a teacup and drank it in one gulp. Dozens of men emerged from the shadows, armed with pitchforks and blades. Seeing me dead, they breathed a collective sigh of relief. Dark blood trickled from Mother's nose and mouth. She too was gone. The men of the village carried our family to the mountains and set our bodies ablaze, finally at peace. For I, the demon, had killed too many.